I'm Jake.
And Alex.
And welcome back. Happy Friday the 13th, everybody.
Back for another post-pandemic review.
Yeah, and today we're going to be reacting to the Cinema Snob's 2015 review of Friday the 13th, the final chapter, or so it was called. There would be a lot more after this one.
Well, yep.
And it's crazy. I remember when this came out 5 years ago. Cinema Snob tries to do a Friday the 13th every time that day comes up. I don't know what he's doing for this one, but number 4, and look forward to watching this.
Yeah, we're getting right into it.
Cool. Without further ado, let's watch and see what he has to say about Jason this time after the headache-inducing.
Yeah, the 3D, yeah.
Yeah.
The final chapter, thank God. I'm sick of watching these movies, is what I would say if part 4 was a greater number than part 10, or 11, or 12. Jesus Christ, how many of these are there? And besides, the box cover spoils the ending. Jason is defeated by stabbing his mask in the eye hole, which proceeds to bleed to death on the black stage.
Spoilers.
What the fuck? Anyway, you may be wondering why I have a VHS of this. It's because I'm not going to give the movie the dignity of watching it in HD. So here's me reviewing it with an HD source file.
Oh boy. The dance.
It's definitely awkward. Those shorts.
What do I need to say about Friday the 13th, the final chapter, that wasn't already perfectly said on 1984 Chicago television?
Our next movie is Friday the 13th, the final chapter, an immoral, reprehensible piece of trash.
Damn right it is. Looking it up, I can already tell you that this movie was probably not nominated for any Academy Awards. Do continue.
Needless to say, Paramount Studios, the distributor of this film, didn't authorize any clips of the film for use on television. They like to make the money, but maybe they're a little bit ashamed of the movie. They like to hide it from critics like ourselves, but
you can tell they're ashamed because they put their logo right at the beginning of the movie, and it was produced by the president of Paramount's son. Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is 90 minutes of teenagers being strangled, stabbed, impaled, chopped up, and mutilated. That's all this movie is.
Well, to be fair,
What's the problem?
Ebert didn't hold back, for sure.
And it's also a movie with a message.
Just think of the message this film offers to its teenage audience. The world is a totally evil place, this movie says. It'll kill you. It doesn't matter what your dreams and hopes and ambitions are. It doesn't matter if you have a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend or you've got plans for the future. You can forget those plans because you're going to wind up dead.
Yes, which is why when the movie opened
That is
at
pretty
number
much
1
the
in
whole
box
series,
office,
right?
every teenager who went to go see it immediately dropped out of high school because the movie showed them that life is pointless. But if you want a more restrained opinion,
I got as upset as you did. I don't know whether the teenagers, the message will be of this film that the world is hopeless. I don't think anyone's going to take this as a worldview picture. I really don't.
No, they are going to take this as a worldview picture. Cheap roller coaster ride entertainment must always contain a message. And yes,
Marvel.
I was the kid in school who demanded homework during recess, but I don't understand what that has to do with anything. All right, look, let's just sum up this whole experience.
The film is literally about stabbing. In other words, if you like this picture, what you have liked, I believe, is the idea that someone will get a stick put through their body, because that's the essence of this movie. That watching girls, and it's mostly girls again, getting stuck is entertainment.
There are boys that get stuck, but he has a point.
As a movie has people getting stabbed, horror fans will immediately like it. It won't be for characters or tone. It'll be because people are getting stuck. Just look at the horror community's love for such movies as Smiley, Elm Street 2010, Savage Weekend, and Crazy Bad Evil 2. Any horror fan will tell
Me and Matt reacted to that a few years ago.
because of the
It's bad.
least I'm assuming so.
And the sickest thing is, this isn't the final chapter, that's just an advertising gimmick. The ending clearly sets up a sequel.
Okay, that one I can agree with you. This has been the Cinema Snob response to a 30-year-old clip of Siskel and Ebert well after either one of them can respond.
Both dead now.
Someone should make an internet character based off of that review. Okay, I guess
You
I
did.
should actually watch the film in question. Did I make up my mind about this movie based solely on Siskel and Ebert's review? Yes. But thank God the movie sums up the previous entries for me.
I don't want to scare anyone. I'm gonna give it to you straight about Jason.
Seen it! Why do I need these flashbacks? It's not that complicated of a series. Teens get naked and Jason kills them.
Some folks claim they've even seen it. Right in this area.
Don't know why they're showing this guy since it was Jason's mom that killed him.
Yeah, part one was
this
different
series
than the other.
recap.
Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded that night.
Only because he went into a theater showing the end of Friday the 13th. After a while, they stop telling the story and it just becomes a greatest hits album. And by greatest hits, I mean a lot of scenes from part 3.
Jason's out there.
And sometimes he's in 3D, but not this time. That is past. But we'll still throw the title at you anyway.
Boom.
Yeah, that's it.
Amazing! Especially considering how the movie doesn't have any explosions in it. Look at these names. I don't know who any of these people
Corey
are.
Feldman.
I'm sure they went on to nothing. And twins playing twins. Isn't that typecasting? I suppose they pulled out all the stops for this one. Look, they got a helicopter in it. That body there looks a little frumpy. Must be the Shelley cameo. Here, put this in the evidence bag. We don't want to get any fingerprints on it. Oh shit, where's our gloves? Why does everyone seem so nonchalant about this massacre?
Yeah, they're all dead. You can pull it up over there. All dead. Some emergency. Put her over there.
Huh?
That's right. If there are no survivors, then that means that an obvious mass murder spree is a non-emergency. Also, there was a survivor. And seeing how parts 2
But she's not
through
back
4 of
for
this
this.
series all take place within the same week, you've had about 20 dead bodies just this weekend alone. Even the Ghostbusters
Yeah, there's like
turned
10
out to investigate
mass
this.
murderers every day
There's
this
something
week.
strange about seeing ambulances roll away from the scene of a massacre and having the mayhem site return to a place of odd quiet. Even I'll admit that that's one of the eeriest shots of this series. Oh no, last time I saw someone put food on top of a body at a morgue.
Yeah, this guy should be fired.
Don't worry, Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is a lot more respectful to Jason Voorhees than Wired was to John Belushi. Why is everyone in this town horny?
Meet me in the cold room.
He looks like one of the guys from The Big Bang Theory.
I say,
Oh,
what did I
a little bit,
accidentally
Howard.
put in Halloween
A
2?
little bit.
Also, Spoonie does not look good with that haircut. The only place to watch the news is in a room with a corpse and a morgue attendant who wants to fuck you.
The man responsible for the murders in Wessex County was passed. Is at this moment in the Wessex County Medical Center morgue.
Thank you, officer.
Oh, the very
The
room.
odds are pretty good that you know someone who was murdered. Face it, dude, no way she is gonna bang you. What? This movie teaches another worldview that morgue sex is A, a thing, and B, hot. Holy Jesus, goddamn! Holy Jesus, jumping, Christmas shit! Great.
Creative.
Watching Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Sorry, dude, you're gonna have sex with one of the corpses now.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Was. Well, she still is.
Yeah, now I am worried he's gonna fuck a corpse. Thank God aerobics porn is on to distract him.
Hi, girl. Thanks for waiting.
How fucked up the 80s were? That's Nickelodeon that he's watching. Come here, motherfucker, this is for your World's End review. And as for her, clearly she's screaming because Jason since the last film.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, what the fuck are people doing still living here?
Talk to Dad. How is he? Oh, he said it was lonely. We asked him to come
Do they
out.
not watch the news?
Probably because he's worried about
Yeah, why would anyone still
every
come to
other
this
person
camp?
in this town is dead. Just think about what this is doing to your strange alien child. Wait a minute. It's
Corey Feldman.
Put the mask back on. I decided to make fun of Corey Feldman because he was in some classic movies and also some bad ones. I'm starting to wonder if anyone here even knows about the killings.
Someone left the front door open. We're in the country. But what happens if the psycho wanders in?
I don't know, just ask some of your friends what happens when a psycho wanders into your house. Oh, wait, you can't, because they're dead. People are still going on vacation. I mean, sure, some probably thought that Jason was dead, but 2 hospital employees were murdered, and Jason's body is missing. Apparently, it was really fucking easy for him to sneak out of the hospital without anyone noticing. Not that the original version of the pros would notice either.
What? It says you're a dead fuck. A dead fuck?
Hello, McFly? You can't satisfy a woman, butthead. Think, McFly. Think with your micro penis. They end up stopping, only so it can zoom in on Jason's mom's grave. Except she was killed on Friday, June 13th in 1980, not 1979. There was no Friday, June 13th in 1979. Now this movie doesn't make any sense. At least one girl is smart enough to get out of this town. She's taking all the bananas with her. Well, at least Jason was nice enough to then drop her body off in Canada like she asked. There is meaning to this story. It's about people coping with tragedy by simply ignoring it. This family is annoying. I'd rather spend time with P.P.S. Crispin Glover.
No, see, I've come to realize that a guy can have a good time without having to have...
That's the dad from Back to the Future.
He's just sad that the filmmakers were too scared to use him in the flashbacks for fear that he would sue them. Look, he's even bumming out Joe.
Inside
now.
joke.
These friends are weird.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you don't. I mean, you do it with everybody.
That was the nicest way that I could call you a slut while screwing you. Plus, doesn't this mean that you're cheating on Wyatt, you bitch? Hey, a story about Jason's body missing. What else is in the news? Now here's the most realistic thing about the movie. Corey Feldman peeping in on a woman changing clothes. And like every kid,
This is actually a funny
it all
scene.
gets ruined when mom
Creepy, but
comes in
funny.
and shuts off your porn. I'm sensing another message here as well, and it's who can wear the shortest shorts in a short shorts competition. The winner is clearly young Rob Lowe here, and the losers, Teddy and Jimbo.
You want to make a fool out of yourself. Always doing something new.
So what you're saying is I should go on a talk show and try to kick the host in the face with a wooden shoe. Got it. This is just like Grown Ups 2, only without Kevin James' sweet ass.
Oh! No, we have no suits!
But they're not the only ones with a no nudity clause.
Well, then I'm gonna go under and stay under until you do. See you later.
And then she died. This son of a bitch, he's seen way more skin at 10 years old than I did, and I grew up with Cinemax.
So bad with doozies, huh?
This movie actually has the most nudity in the
Best way that Corey
franchise.
Feldman ever said nice tits in his life. The kid can fix a fucking car. Let him see some boobs if he wants. Or, never mind, Hiker McHandsome is gonna fix the car with the old switchblade trick. Now he gets to see your sister.
Good way to get electrocuted.
Yeah.
I've seen so much action that one way or another, he's gonna get someone into his bedroom. Nice of him to show off all the prototypes used for what Jason could have looked like under the mask.
Amazing.
I've never been to a Spencer Gifts before. And what do you think of this? I'm trying to figure out how to use it as a condom. Oh, and remember...
A 10-year-old made all that?
To embarrass himself.
I couldn't make any of that at
No.
this age.
Well...
George McFly, ladies and gentlemen. Lloyd's sitting there thinking, this is my owner.
Even before he was famous, Crispin Glover was still fantastic at being Crispin Glover. He just made this shit up on the spot, because of course he did.
Hey, how come you turned that off?
Because the internet hasn't been invented yet. Just give it a few years and people will be watching this dancing clip on repeat and spamming their friends.
Probably on TikTok.
I suppose two can play this aggressive flirting game.
Teddy, I better get another drink.
Oh, I'm not drunk enough for a Lawrence Monason face suck. Give me a few tequila minutes. And now he's back to being mopey again.
Besides, you've got the hot one of the two set.
Awkward.
Well,
Who thinks that's funny?
You may think that's funny, but everyone knows that this shit is funny. Teddy may be sticking his hand out of his pants, but Jimbo looks like a puppeteer is trying to get his hand out of his foot. Why are people saying that this movie is nothing more than people getting stabbed? There's more jealousy and drama here than in 5 minutes of Knots Landing.
I mean, she was mine.
Well, all of that changed when she saw you drinking Coors. Since Jason can't exactly kill Samantha when she's indoors, he's got to wait until she goes skinny dipping in the middle of the night to make her possibly cheating boyfriend jealous, while also giving Jason a stalk boner. Could be worse. Could be Corey Feldman watching her naked. Whoop, here we go. A girl getting stuck.
Ow.
Thus, every horror fan immediately gave this movie 4 stars.
That scene was actually filmed in November, I believe. And she was freezing cold when they
Yeah.
filmed it.
Unfortunately, Paul's "It's my turn to die" sense begins tingling.
I can't go through with this.
My girlfriend is now literally a dead fuck, and I need to take advantage of that. And say what you will about Crispin Glover's dancing.
Whoa.
Apparently, it worked.
You want to dance?
No thanks. I'm playing with my French fry spider Cheeto toy thing. What the hell is that? Well, time to put that dead fuck theory to the test. And time for Teddy to get rejected for the 8th time.
That's a teddy bear. Want a big teddy bear to kiss?
I'm starting to feel bad for Lawrence Monason right now. He got laid more times when he played the lead role in a movie called The Last American Virgin. Oh, she's asleep, thank God. She won't notice me in these ridiculous shorts. Say what you will, but it took Jason a lot of effort to remain under the water this whole time, in the off chance that
Get ready for this kill.
out there.
oh,
Lifted in the air via crotch.
Ouch. And then every guy immediately gave
That's brutal.
this movie 4 stars. What? It still has people getting stabbed in it. That sound carried for miles. Poor Rob here is either scared or he's about to go fix a stalled monster truck. But this is where we get introduced to prankster Jason. He didn't stick around to kill Rob. He just broke his gun and drank all of his fluids. Because in this movie, Jason's a dick. Well, sort of. He is gonna let Crispin Glover have sex first.
This is, your room.
No, actually, it's Paul's room.
So, I guess we should leave or something. That'd be the polite thing to do since Paul just lost his balls.
oh,
You dead fuck. The film also.
I wonder if that was scripted.
Showing a better film within their subpar film. Not that I'm against anyone sitting around their house and watching a race.
1920s
Supposedly
porn.
actor Lawrence Monason really did get a little high during this movie. For method acting and all. Well, fuck me, I can't tell. What I personally can't stand is hypocrisy. Look at this. She's giving her sister shit for wanting to stay with Jimbo, even though she's the one who advised her to do so. And what's with the name calling?
You slut!
Hey, your boobs were also seen by Corey Feldman, little missy. Can't say I'm sad to see you go, though the cutting in the movie is a little awkward.
That's a weird edit.
Something just came through the wall and stabbed me in the back, and it's making me surprisingly horny. One thing I'm noticing about the Siskel and Ebert review is that they mention that most of these characters are, dare I say it, likable. Look at Teddy's reaction to overhearing Sarah say that she wants to take a shower with Doug.
Stop.
It's just a group of buddies hanging out, smoking some weed, and then fucking. And also getting murdered. But I do believe that you could get so high that you would believe that this movie is trying to tell kids that life is meaningless. Just look at this next scene. See, nothing but women getting stuck. Except when it cuts away from it. These two
NBA
jackasses
can be
probably
a real
wouldn't even notice
bitch.
their mom is dead until a week later.
Can we slow down a little? Let's just go on all night. I lose my lollipop.
I'd ask what's with the scene of Corey Feldman being a brat in the car, but given what Jason actor Ted White said about Feldman's on-set brattiness, they probably just let the camera roll in this scene and inserted footage of him being himself. All it took was for the lights to go up for them to realize that something is fucked up in their town. Look, Tommy, remember when Dad was asking us to go out of town and come visit him? Maybe we should take him up on that. I don't know why we're cutting to a clip of Jesse Spano preparing to go to prom with Slater, but whatever. Let's go back to these two responsible wonder kids.
I'm going out of town. Me too. No, you stay here in case she comes back. I'll go. Stay here and fix the lights.
You're around 10 years old, Tommy. You're old enough to be alone in the house with a killer on the loose. Meanwhile, I'm gonna hang out in a stranger's tent until he makes me shit my pants with a machete. Until we get context for said machete. Turns out Rob is in Crystal Lake to avenge the death of his sister Sandra from part 2. Given that this movie only takes place a few days after that, you'd think Rob would want to be at her funeral, but given how she died, I think there will probably be 2 caskets. One for her and one for her boyfriend who stuck to her.
The man who killed your sister is dead.
Thank you for acknowledging that you know that there's a killer in your town who has killed half of the population. And if you don't stop him, he's gonna kill Crispin Glover too.
Wish I had dead. Fuck.
There's a reason I'm asleep right now. We haven't even had sex yet, you dead fuck. And I did not need to know that he wears panties.
Before you run this through your computer, teddy bear,
That's not how computers work, 80s. You put that in the computer and it will halt and catch fire. Plus, this movie doesn't even know how a corkscrew works.
Oh,
What?
Whatever. I already know that Jason is off the hook because Biff Tannen killed him. Jason is too busy hanging
What?
out on a ledge in case someone happened to look out a window.
oh,
Bam!
Oh my god, that probably wouldn't kill her. There's way too much drama here for one movie. Doug is cheating on Sarah with her body double, but she comes back without even noticing. But the biggest disaster happens when Jason cuts the reel of film. And as the president of the Silent Film Preservation Society, I do declare that this scene is the worst thing to happen to black and white since Ted Turner. Not even wholesome love stories are spared here.
Sarah, I think I'm in heaven.
I think I'm in love.
Don't say that.
That
You
was an
yourself
awkward
killed
line
him.
to
The
read.
last movie, he killed a pregnant woman. Jason cares not for your high school crush.
Ow!
What I need. It turns out the powers of Matthew Starr were no match for a head crushing against a shower wall. And
the death of the guys is more brutal than the girls here.
Men have had the most
Yeah.
graphic death
You missed
scenes.
that,
Oh,
Cisco, you
I
virgin.
just said that.
Everyone in this movie a dead fuck? Though let's pause to admire just how sturdy this towel is. It stays on the entire time, even with an axe going through it. The heavier the no nudity clause, the sturdier the towel. Also, Jason could just fucking turn up anywhere. At least in the other movies, he had somewhat of a sneaky path. In this one, he knows exactly what door or window you will be standing in front of at any given minute. He's just warming up to his teleportation powers in part 8. Also, I've apparently already seen part 8. Then we get to the third act of the film, which is basically, let's just scare the shit out of Corey Feldman. I know that I had a key, but we thought it smash the window. Now maybe they won't just keep the kid at home by himself.
Tony, stay here, okay?
You mean the door that you just punched through? Oh, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He has absolutely no excuse for not being as good as a Robert Altman film, especially since one of its cast members wrote a Robert Altman film. And then for no reason, this happens.
What about Boomer?
Dead? Jason wasn't even anywhere close. I think the dog literally just bailed on the movie and thought jumping out the window would be a quicker death than simply going out the front door and living with being in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Look at this idiot. Why does he need to look at newspaper clippings, most of which are probably only a day old and are from articles in his own
Newspapers work
hometown
fast.
that he should have already seen? At this point, Jason appears to have been busy re-murdering already dead bodies. But with a hard-ass hiker hell-bent on revenge, Jason has finally met his match. Well, good one. Now your parents have to bury 2 of their children. Don't worry, the avenging his sister plotline would later be used in the Friday the 13th remake, another film that is beloved by horror fans because people get killed in it. Unfortunately, poor Trish is trapped since it'd be way too hard to step over this dead body, and no one wants to crawl between dead Crispin Glover's legs. That's icky. It's a good thing for them that they know Jason's Achilles heel. Nails through it.
Yeah, that'll stop him.
We're now about to see
Yeah,
another
they
time
appeared
Jason
everywhere
throws
else.
a body through a window. That's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a stunt, but not as funny as knowing that the terror on Corey Feldman's face here is actually real. That's for Dream a Little Dream. Jason is a little off his game this time around. Normally, he could have made that shot if he didn't get an axe in his head the other night. Though I like the appearance of confused Jason. He doesn't know which one to chase, so he goes for the woman. And history has shown that when there's only one woman left, they will defeat him. Triss then takes a cue from the dog and
How many
jumps
jump
out
through the window scenes are there?
survived this, but not the hot twin. That's hardly fair. And Jason really should have seen this coming, especially since there was already a machete mark on the wall from a previous take.
Oh.
And either Corey Feldman is trying to look like a young Jason, or he just escaped from being held captive in Balloon Land. Now we have
He's trying to play to Jason's
Man
inner
was
child.
phone lines, but he also confuses Amy Steele for his mother. And now what? Does he think he's talking to himself? Or is he just confused, wondering who in the hell those people on the wall are? I think a couple of them might have been in Teddy Stagg films. But soon it is revealed that yes, it was Jason this entire time.
Yeah.
Hey, after part 5, you never know. So given that this was supposedly the final chapter, how is Jason killed off?
Well,
Good effect.
Gross, but that's what kills him? The machete to the head? Actually, no, because he's still moving, prompting Feldman to just hit him repeatedly with a machete. Shut the fuck up. You want this fucker dead or don't you? Seeing how Ted White is like Eddie at the beginning of Romancing the Stone, I think I know what's going through Tommy's head right now.
That was the end of Grogan, the man who killed my father, raped and murdered my sister, burned my ranch, shot my dog, and stole my Bible.
But still, this is what kills him? In the span of a week, he's had an axe in his head, his shoulder separated, his hand mangled. Hell, he's even been hung, and yet he's still capable of chucking bodies through windows. I think he can handle another skull wound and a hazing routine with a machete. It's almost like this wasn't meant to be the final chapter after all. It even has an open ending.
well,
The hell does that mean? Is he gonna grow up to become Jason now? Don't worry, that'll be explained at the end of part 5, which I'm sure will
Sort
be
of.
explained in part 6. Okay, this movie may be an immoral piece of trash, unlike those much better and very moral slasher films, but I'm sure the cast theaters when she wasn't allowed to warm up from the chilly water, or Ted White having his name removed from the film, calling it a piece of shit after advocating for safer stunts for the actors, or Corey Feldman pretending to be hitting director Joe Zito with a machete during the death scene. To be fair, that could be because he dropped his lollipop again. Star Kimberly Beck even dismissed the film by saying, "It's not even a B movie, it's a C movie." Oh, honey, I've seen 4 talking vagina movies, 4 E.T. pornos, and 2 Sasquatch porns. This isn't a C movie. Tom Savini even returned to do the special effects because he wanted to be there for the series end. Oops. It was a monster hit, making $32 million at the box office against a $2 million budget. But all it is killing. And also a revenge plotline, likable characters who you don't want to see die, comic reliefs that are funny, a quirky self-esteem arc, and a child lead with hobbies you'd see straight out of a Joe Dante movie. It's not like the message of the movie is to get very drunk and high with your friends and sit around and watch 90 minutes of some mindless fun exploitation. After all, there's even scenes in the movie of friends getting drunk and high and
dancing
and some mindless fun exploitation. I'm sure that's not meta at all. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've just watched Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which means that the world has gotten so dark and depressing to me that I need to drink myself to sleep while dreaming about watching much better movies with an actual message and not terrible movies while looking for a fake message. Though if it were filmed like a Dario Argento movie, I probably would have liked it.
God, I'm horny.
Again, that's the dad from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The one that does the crazy dancing.
Whew. That was a lot to take in.
How familiar are you again with Friday the 13th?
Not a ton, no. So this was probably the first time that I've seen any clips from this movie.
I've seen every Friday the 13th of the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a series that I'm a little mixed on. The first one, where Jason's mother is the killer, I actually don't think that's as great a classic as people make it out to be.
Mm.
Just because there's a mystery to who the killer is, but when you rewatch it, the mystery's kind of dead.
Yeah.
But the sequels, I feel, did get pretty enjoyable. My favorites are the second and third one, just for how wild it can get, just how creative the kills are.
This was your stereotypical slasher film here.
Yeah.
A lot of the same elements, but...
Yeah, exactly. And you could definitely tell this is when the MPAA was starting to crack down on the horror stuff, because you could see there's a lot of cuts, like sometimes before we can really see the full kill.
They still had some good gore in there, especially, killing him in the end there. They didn't hold back there.
Yeah, but also apparently there were some makeup effects that didn't pan out as well as they would have hoped.
Yeah.
Like when Crispin Glover gets axed in the face.
Yeah.
That shot's only like half a second. I think it's a mix of censorship and maybe the blood didn't go as much as what they had hoped.
Yeah.
And also the scene where the nurse in the morgue gets stabbed in the gut. Originally we were supposed to see a shot of her feet lifted above the ground with the blood pouring on the ground.
Oh.
They cut that out because with the blood dripping between her feet, it looked like she was pissing blood.
That's pretty grotesque.
That could have been solved easily. Just have him stab her in the crotch instead.
I guess so.
But I guess maybe they didn't want to be that gruesome. I like Brad's review of it pretty well.
Yeah, I thought it covered some decent ground. The Corey Feldman pieces were always entertaining.
Yeah, like Tommy's a weird character, but yeah, there were some cool parts like the mask stuff.
Yep.
the part where he shaves his head. And,
That's just bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just weird. And then the part where he hacks Jason in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Feldman says he was picturing the film's director while doing that.
And that is disturbed.
Yeah, and Joseph Zito, the director, the whole cast pretty much hated him during filming, saying that he was very unpleasant to work with.
Seems a little too, I don't know, catharsis right there. I don't know.
Yeah. Like the guy who gets his head slammed in the shower. Apparently, he really did get injured when they did that.
Well, I mean, that was brutal, that kill right there. That was one of the most brutal in the film.
And also, the girl in the raft in the lake. It's an inflatable boat, so she's very obviously getting wet during it. Double entendre. And okay, they filmed that scene apparently in November. And
It's like 30 degrees out.
yeah, and she was like turning blue while filming. And Ted White, who played Jason, threatened to quit the film unless he took a break and let them take her to the hospital.
Wow.
And Ted White, as he said, asked to be uncredited because he hated just how much Joseph Zito, how much of a complete piece of shit he was to everybody.
A ringing endorsement for this episode.
And Ted White, before this, he was primarily a stuntman. He was 57 when he played Jason here, making him the oldest actor to play the character. And he had been in the business so long that he had actually been a stunt double for John Wayne and Clark Gable.
Whoa, it's a completely different generation. It's amazing he could toss people out the windows with the frequency that he did there.
Yeah. And he says he didn't want to take the role because he didn't want his grandkids to see a movie where he plays a guy killing teenagers.
I can see that, I suppose, but it'd be kind of neat if your grandfather did that.
Yeah. However, he was told that because they would need to take plaster molds of his face for the makeup, he was told that it would take 3 weeks to do that, and he couldn't act during those 3 weeks, but because he was hired, they would still pay him for that.
Oh.
So he says he did it for the money.
Well.
Yeah, it's very impressive, especially a scene where he just bursts through a door, like rips the door to shreds, just going in at like full force. And the part where he grabs Corey Feldman, he waited like 5 seconds after the point that he was supposed to jump through so that he could really scare Corey Feldman, who he claimed was just an unpleasant brat during
I can believe that. It seems like there was a lot of good, like, independent moments of this film, but then, like, collectively, it was hard for the whole film to work together. I don't know.
And with that clip of Siskel and Ebert at the beginning, it's funny. Normally, Siskel was the tight ass when it came to reviewing movies, and Ebert tended to be a little more open-minded to some movies. But when it came to slasher films, they were both pretty snobbish. And according to Brad, it was actually watching Roger Ebert review this movie on At the Movies that inspired him to do the Cinema Snob.
He definitely didn't hold back with his review.
Yeah.
Yeah, he destroyed it.
You listen to him talk about the message of this movie is that you're going to die. I'm like, this movie has a message?
That's definitely 80s right there.
But yeah, Siskel, he didn't like it. I thought he was a little more nicer, saying if you like the first film, you like this. But he seemed to have overlooked that there were just as many, even more dudes getting fucked up than the girls.
Yeah, that shower scene was brutal. The guy getting stuck in the crotch there, that was pretty brutal.
I'm not even sure how that would work, how that would lift him up in the air as it did. Yeah, just be like, oh.
Yeah. Definitely wouldn't want that to happen to me.
But the movie made money, and the very next year, we got Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, and it's the movie where Jason appears to be back, but then it turns out to be a doppelganger, just an imitator.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that kind of failed with fans and critics, for the sixth one, they had Jason in his grave, struck by lightning, and coming back as an indestructible zombie.
Because why not?
Hey, they gotta keep the series going somehow.
Yep.
And then in 2003, they had him go toe-to-toe with Freddy Krueger.
Crossover.
One of the, not the first, but one of the first mainstream ones that set in motion what would come later with Marvel and DC movies.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think it's a lot better than Batman v Superman.
I would agree with that.
Anything else that stuck out to you?
I think probably the nudity, just because there was just so much of it in this movie, which is a little surprising.
I mean, the others had it, but
Right.
not as much as this
It
one.
seemed like it was a focal point. I mean, even the Stag film there included nudity, which
Yeah.
is just, it's all over the place.
Well, I'll give it this. At least Joseph Zito embraced the man-ass. And after this, he hasn't done a lot of movies. Before this, he made a slasher film called The Prowler, which is what got him the job on this. And after Friday 13th, the final chapter, he did two of the most famous Chuck Norris movies, Missing in Action and Invasion USA.
Huh?
Apparently he worked better with Chuck than he did with the actors on this film.
Yeah, it definitely didn't pad his reputation here.
And the last thing I'll say is Crispin Glover's dancing, just
It's
all over the place.
something you really can't forget.
And he made that up all on the spot.
Yeah.
He just, and although the music that they play there, that do whatever it was, that apparently that wasn't the song, if I'm remembering right, that wasn't the song that actually played while filming. The song they actually were listening to while he danced at the time was Danger Zone.
Oh. Kind of like Elaine from Seinfeld, a dry heave set to music.
Dumb film, but got some fun moments. Not my favorite Friday the 13th, but hey, it's better than A New Beginning.
It probably saved the franchise, but
Although I will say, I'm not a big fan of movies that put final in the title. And with that poster of the knife in the eye hole, I'm like, spoilers?
right.
I mean, although it's not as bad as the 9th film, Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday. I mean, that just gives the whole ending away completely.
And I guess it would have been on movie posters, so it would have been a legitimate spoiler, right? If it was just on the case, you may have seen it in the movies, but still not a good idea.
Anyway, I'm not sure what Brad's gonna do for this Friday the 13th, but since he finished the original series, like he did the remake about a year ago, he started reviewing alternative Friday the 13th. Like, he did a review of the Bollywood remake of Friday the 13th.
I'm fascinated and intrigued.
Apparently it's 2.5 hours.
Whoa, that's a lot of source material right there.
He also reviewed a fan film, which is a movie made by fans on the internet, about Jason becoming Santa Claus.
Also intrigued.
And the New Beginning review that we reacted to was from 2009, when Brad kept reviews to 10 minutes or under. And since that was a different format, almost a different show back then, he decided to remake that old review recently. So who knows what he's gonna do this time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bollywood, huh?
Yeah.
I don't see how that would translate, but I suppose. I just watched a Bollywood film not too long ago, and there's a lot there.
We'll get to that soon. Anyway, see you next time.
Enjoy.
Have a hopefully lucky Friday the 13th.
Stay cool.